Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Troy Allen Galat. Welcome to Trigger Time TV, brought to you by Crossbreed Holsters. All right guys, back out to the range in Pascagoula, Mississippi with Steve Fisher of Sentinel Concepts. Today he's joined by Nate Stokes of Unity Tactical, and they're going to talk about the Trijicon RMR.
Hey everyone, Steve Fisher from Sentinel Concepts back in Pascagoula, Mississippi. I'm here today to talk about red dot pistols and red dot sighting systems on them with my good friend Nate Stokes from Unity Tactical. We're going to be talking about draw strokes and presentations and why people just suck with handguns and thinking that red dots are a magical cure for them. Nate.
How you doing, Steve?
Good, bro.
Steve, the number one complaint I hear from shooters that are trying to transition to a red dot on their pistol is that they draw the pistol, they get it to the target, and they can't find the dot. They claim that they're slower out of the holster because they can't find the dot when they present the pistol to the target.
We hear that a lot, and we know that that's a training issue.
Absolutely.
You need to understand that when you present that handgun, it needs to come out in the same consistent fashion, just like you would with your regular iron sights on a pistol. Present that gun nice, flat, and smooth to the target, superimposing that red dot over that target or that threat area, and then simply applying a good fundamental trigger press straight back to the rear. Now, granted, it's not a 5-10 stroke kind of deal. You still need to get about a good 100 reps on it or so to get a good solid presentation for a newer shooter to the red dot. If you're an accomplished shooter, it's pretty simple to pick up really easy.
Right. The key is to get the gun high, table the gun high, and drive it straight onto the target, keeping the slide level. If you can keep the slide level to the ground, you're going to have much better luck finding the dot quickly. You have to think of it like a drinking straw. If you have the drinking straw straight and level with the ground and you look through it, you can see out the other side. If you can't, that drinking straw either up or down, all you can see is the wall of the straw. The same thing happens with the red dot on the pistol.
Now, are you seeing that with different sights versus, like, say, you know, my personal favorite is a Trijicon RMR because I like the square window on it and a little bit smaller footprint. Now, also, you know, a lot of guys are mounting T1 type optics, H1s on their pistols as well, which is more of a tube.
Right.
So do you see any difference between the two? Which one applies to the other?
You know, those are two of my favorite optics, and I think they both work really well when mounted on a pistol, but if your technique is bad, the technology is not going to save you.
Yeah, absolutely correct. I believe that 100%. The other thing that we've talked about before is you mentioned like an inverted L.
Right. I like to think of the draw, especially with a red dot, as an inverted L. I want to get the gun out of the holster and pull it as high as I can, rock it onto the target, and drive it straight out, parallel with the ground onto the target.
Okay, so that's kind of what you're saying about, you know, that high table type draw stroke presentation.
I tell shooters to think of themselves if they're standing and drawing over a table to the chest level. You got to get the gun up and over the table before you press it out on the target. Makes
absolute sense. You know, bringing it up to a high pec index, to a position 2, and then presenting that gun straight across.
Absolutely.
And that just flows naturally into a combative's role too, for those of us that have been through that kind of program. The other thing that we find is, you know, red dot pistols help considerably with people with aging eyes. Myself, you know, I'm 45, the eyes are starting to change. You know, I don't see the front sight as well anymore as I used to, so I start playing with different front sights where the red dot really does help with that. Also, I'm seeing that it really helps with low light engagements and off-axis shooting positions. What's your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think the red dot is the biggest benefit to people with bad eyesight, also to people with issues where they may have to make longer shots. For instance, highway patrolman, you know, interstate highway 70 yards from shoulder to shoulder. That's a long pistol shot. Hard to make with iron sights, especially in low light. So, Steve, I think it's really important that people understand that without practice and without developing proper technique, the red dot's not a solution that's going to save you. If you don't have the technique, the technology can't save you. You got to practice. You got to develop a good sound draw stroke. If your draw stroke's flawed, everything's going to be flawed after that, just like with iron-sighted pistols. The little added additional technology that the red dot, adding it onto your slide, isn't going to save you if your technique's not there.
Yeah, those are all great points, Nate. And once again, thanks for being here, brother. It's always a pleasure. And just remember, folks, it is up to you to train and practice and be responsible for your personal protection.
Trigger Time TV is brought to you by Crossbreed Holsters, Lucid Optics, Bravo Company USA, Nemo Arms, American Tactical, Crisis Application Group, Century Arms, Silencer Co., Primary Weapon Systems, Trijicon, Mayflower Research and Consulting, Atlantic Marksman Precision, and Total Ammo.